Good morning, guys. Let's go to the flower market.
We're driving down the boulevard, cruising with the windows down, feeling like we run this town. Your song is on the radio, the one you always like, the one that always gets you psyched. We've been drinking all the cheap wine all night, acting stupid but it feels so right. I know that we will all be just fine, but tonight I just wanna dance it off.
Hello, friends. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to Marigold Manor. I just got back from the farmer's market and the flower market, and I'm so excited. I have so much to show you. There's so many activities that we're going to get into today because I can feel spring slipping away, and I'm not happy about that. Not because I don't love summer, because I do, but I'm not happy about it because I have had a really wonderful spring. It has been filled with just gardening and flowers and fresh produce and seasonal eating and farmers markets, and it's just been such an amazing season. I'm sad to see it go, but I feel like it's quick. It's like slipping through my fingers. Like I can feel it slipping away. So in today's video, I want to show you guys and share with you how I have been romanticizing the spring season before it's too late, before spring is over. I mean, we're almost in June, so yeah, I mean, it's about to be summer, but before spring is officially gone, technically the first day of summer is June 21st, so we've got some time. So before the spring season is officially gone, I want to share with you just my favorite ways that I've been romanticizing this season, and hopefully inspire you to do the same before summer comes and it's all bikinis and flip-flops and beach days, which I'm also super excited about. But before it's all of that stuff, we're still in the, like, you know, I'm still in the pastels and the garden and the flowers. Like, I'm still in that vibe. And so that's what we're gonna do today. I'm gonna share that with you. I picked up a bunch of things from the flower market because I wanted to make a flower arrangement. Actually, yesterday, I went to not one, but two Trader Joe's locations searching for peonies, and they did not have them. I don't know what that was about. They didn't have any peonies, so I had to wait until I could get to the flower market to pick some up. And so I wanted to create a flower arrangement that's kind of like an ode to the peony, like a celebration of the peony. Comment below, do you say peony or peony? Because I've heard people say peony, and I've never said it that way, nor have I ever heard it like professionally said that way, but I do hear people pronounce it peony. So I want to know, do you say peony or peony? I want to do a celebration of the peony flower arrangement and put that somewhere because we don't have that many arrangements out. I got one yesterday on my way home from work. Why I didn't just take flowers home from work, I don't know. I just didn't. So I got this one from a local flower shop, which is really pretty, and I got my peonies, but I have more that I want to work with and make like a very pretty arrangement. And then I got some good stuff at the farmer's market too. So I'm very excited for today's video. I think it's important to romanticize each season and to live with the seasons, and we're going to talk about that later in the video as well. Here's our simmer pot. We've got lemon, orange, lavender, a little thyme, a little whole cloves, and then I also added some vanilla extract for a little extra warmth. Okay, so another thing that I love to do to romanticize the spring season is to eat what is in season. I actually don't even think that this is really romanticizing anything. I think this is just how we are supposed to live as human beings. I think we are supposed to be eating and operating in alignment with the seasons. Like, I just, personally, that's how I feel the best. And I hear so many other people say, like, yeah, when I'm like resting in the winter and being productive in the spring and summer, like that's how I get the most stuff done. That's how I'm the most successful. And so I really just think that's just, this is just how we're supposed to live. But I try my best to eat seasonally. And basically what that means, you don't have to have a garden to do this. What this means is that if something's not in season, you just don't cook with it, because chances are it's been transported from someplace far away where it is in season. It's not going to be as nutritious, it's not going to be as flavorful, and it just doesn't really make sense to be eating, I don't even know, what's something that's not in season? Eating winter squash in the spring or in the summer. Eating seasonally and cooking seasonally is one way that I love to romanticize the seasons and to really like plant myself, no pun intended, in the season. So anyway, I say all that to say that I've whipped out my handy dandy Big Sur Bakery cookbook because it has recipes based on what is in season. And so for the May section, I was actually just going through this last night, and for the May section, they have a spring risotto, which I think is going to be delicious. And I have a good amount of things for it already, but I do have to go pick some stuff up. I did get fava beans. It calls for fava beans. I've never cooked fava beans before, so we'll see how this goes, but It calls for fava beans. I got those at the farmer's market this morning. I'm going to head over to my micro farm and get some carrots, and then I'm gonna go to the grocery store and get the rest of the ingredients that I need. But I already have the arborio rice, I have olive oil, I have chicken stock. Like, I've got a good amount. I just have to add some things in. And then I also wanna make it alongside some scallops. I had my husband pick up some scallops a few days ago because I knew I was going to make them this weekend. And I just think scallops and risotto, it's like peanut butter and jelly. It just goes together. So we are going to head to the farm. We are going to grab some carrots and go to the local market and pick up everything else that we need. So I just got back from the grocery store. I am going to start on dinner. What did I tell you guys about my green obsession? Particularly green gingham. I have a green gingham obsession, and you know what? I feel like for spring, there's nothing better. Yes, we are going to get started on dinner. Like I said, we're making spring risotto with English peas, and then we're also making scallops. I don't really have a veggie, but I feel like the risotto has peas and corn and fava beans. So those are vegetables. Everything at like the markets and the grocery stores, everything just is so like fragrant and beautiful. Everything smells delicious. We walk past the peaches or the mangoes or like just any of the produce, and it just all smells so good. I love this season for cooking. It's just, everything's so fresh and bright. It's amazing. I feel like to enhance this experience, typically I would watch a show. I am watching The Fosters for the first time. I don't know if you guys have heard of it, comment down below, but it is a show that was on ABC Family or Freeform, whatever, about foster kids and like just their trials and tribulations. And I just started season 3. Seasons 1 and 2 were obviously better, but you know, I'm this far in, so we have to keep going. But normally I would watch that, but I feel like to like elevate the springy cooking in the golden hour sunlight experience, I'm gonna put on like French, some sort of French coffee house music. I feel like those are the vibes. Or I'll just look on Spotify for like a spring playlist. I'm gonna stop talking while I cook because I've never made this recipe before, and risotto is not easy. Risotto is not the easiest thing to make. So I don't want to mess it up. So we're gonna stop chit-chatting and start cooking. Shelling fava beans, and this might be the most tedious thing I have ever done in my life. I don't know why anyone would go to the effort of like eating, like this is tedious. You have to like blanch them to get the shells off, and then you gotta blanch them to eat them, and it's like, okay. We're gonna have to see. We're gonna have to see if this recipe is really worth it. I hope so. I'm gonna be kind of mad if I did all this work, because I had to shell the English peas. Now I'm shelling the fava beans. You know what? This is my fault. This is my fault. I mean, I read the recipe, but you can always learn. This is a learning experience. That one's a bust. This is a learning experience, you guys. Hopefully this recipe is worth it. house smells so good right now. The simmer pot is simmering away, and it's actually phenomenal what a few natural ingredients can do to make your house smell good. I mean, you have no need to buy candles, $25 2-wick candles, when you can just buy a couple lemons and a couple oranges, and you know, you can even forage the lavender. You don't have to, well, depending on where you live. I could have foraged the lavender and rosemary. I will leave my spring simmer pot recipe on my blog and in the description box. But the house smells so good. I am so excited. So another way that I like to romanticize the seasons, this doesn't just go for spring, this goes for all of the seasons, is by setting my table in the seasonal theme, in seasonal colors. And for spring, that means green to me. I love green in the springtime. I feel like as I've gotten older, I have developed this like very deep affinity for the color green. It was not top of my list when I was young. My favorite color has always been pink and Tiffany box blue, and those are my two favorite colors. But I don't know, maybe as I'm getting older and more mature, I'm like leaning towards more neutral colors, more earthy colors, and green is one of them. I'm obsessed. I love green. I love a sage green. I love a forest green. Just green is elite. Green is an elite color. And so for my spring table, I love to incorporate green. And to brighten things up, I think I'm going to use this yellow tablecloth. So we'll see. I don't know how green and yellow are gonna go together. If I don't like it, I'll change it to a white tablecloth, but I wanna see, because spring also reminds me of yellow. Like, you know, a light sort of butter yellow. That also reminds me of the spring season. So we're gonna see how it goes, but there's something so special about having your table set. There's some things in your house that I feel like when they're just done and set and ready to go, it just makes everything feel more elevated, more romantic, more like enjoyable. Like when your bed is made. For a long time, I was the person who was like, why would I make my bed when I'm just gonna like get in it and make it messy again? But I've been making my bed almost every single morning for about a month now, and yeah, there's a huge difference when you crawl into bed at night and your bed is made and fluffed and ready for you versus when the sheets are everywhere and the comfort, you know, the comforter is all twisted and all of that. The same goes for your table and like the space where you eat. And I think that there's something very sacred about the space where you eat, because that's where like we gather and that's where we commune with our family for the most part. And so, you know, taking the time to make it magical and to make it special, I think is one way that I like to honor and romanticize the seasons. So I have not actually had the table made for a few weeks now, because I don't know why. Maybe I've just been doing like flower arranging stuff. I'm not really sure. So I'm excited to set the table. If you can, having your table set like all the time, the same way that you kind of think about having your bed made all the time, is one way to really like remind yourself of what season we're in, because you walk past it every day, or you probably walk past it every day, and it's just like there are these little reminders, whether it's like a little bouquet or like a green gingham napkin or, you know, terracotta pots that just remind you of the season that we're in. And I think that romanticizing the seasons really is about like infusing little reminders about the season that we're in, like in little pockets of your life and in your home. I think it's so easy for us to just be going, not really thinking about the season. I mean, even I feel, even right now, I feel like spring got away from me, even though I was really like doing spring, and even I feel like it kind of, you know, slipped away. And so it's just nice having these little reminders in your home of the season that we're in, and I think it reminds us to slow down and to enjoy those seasons a little bit more. So I'm gonna make the table, I'm gonna set the table and hopefully give it that spring romantic flair that it has been missing for the last few weeks. I have some excess flowers left over, and I just decided to make some bud vases for my table arrangement because I have them. Why not use them? Another way to romanticize any season, but to romanticize spring, is to not save your like special things for special occasions. Like you can use your cute springy teacups, you can use your pretty tablecloths. Like don't just save it for when company is coming over or when you feel like it's, you know, the right time. The right time is now, okay? Life is not a dress rehearsal. Ooh, I think I'm gonna take some of the lavender and add that. I think that's gonna give a really nice springy touch. Here is the arrangement that I made this morning. I really, like I said, wanted it to be a celebration of the peony. So we've got these gorgeous pink peonies all throughout the bouquet. And then we also have some ranunculus. We've got some gorgeous garden roses in here. And we've got some dahlias and sweet peas. And I just think it's really pretty. And I think the purple is gonna complement the green on the table really, really well.